Well, hello again, welcome to my channel. I'm Fraser from Metalworking in France. I've got a little job on today. Gentleman's given me a toilet flush lever. Goes onto a cistern to flush the toilet. What he wants to do, he wants to convert these the cisterns in his house. He's got 3 of them. He wants to convert them to high level, which is the old-fashioned way. Well, obviously you can't get high-level cisterns anymore. So what he wants to do, he wants me to make an end cap that'll screw in here instead of this plate, this bung in the end. Make something in there that he can attach a chain to. So when this thing goes up in the air, he can put a chain on it, can pull it in the normal sort of way. So follow me in the next few frames and see how I make these caps to go on. Well, here we are. I'm just turning down the outside diameter of this initially, down to about 17mm diameter. Now I'm putting a profile in, just so that it's got a chamfer on it, so that I can just get a shape on this thing. I'll put a center drill in the end just to get a bearing. I won't go in too far. I don't need to. It's just so that I can get the drill to line up to drill in the center. So I'll put a 5mm drill in, which is the tapping size for M6 metric thread. It's M6 by 1mm, so the thread depth is 1mm less than the outside diameter, which is 6mm, so giving me a tapping size of 5mm. Excuse me, coughing. I'm still a bit throaty from this bug I've had recently. So anyway, as you can see, I'm using the Clipchamp on the lathe to do this job. So now I'll slow the lathe down so that I can now put the M6 tap in. Obviously you can't run it too quickly, but once the tap starts to cut the thread, it'll draw the tailstock into the job, cutting the thread on the way. That's not too bad, actually. It's going in quite nicely. It keeps the thread nice and square if you do it this way. It's also easy to, if you try and tap a hole by hand, it's very easy to get it a little bit off square, and so it ends up not quite straight, basically. So now I'm just turning the other side of the angle so that it just gives a bit of shape. Excuse my hand in there now, I'm afraid. It's just so that I can line up and get this one the same as the one I made earlier. So obviously I made one earlier on just to make sure that the procedure was going to work okay and it was going to look all right. So the next thing is I'll put the parting tool in, but I'll just go in so far, just so that I've got a bearing onto how long this piece is going to be, so that once it's lined up, there you go, and I can just run the parting tool in a little bit just to give it a bearing, so that I know roughly where the end of the spigot's going to be. But now I'm just finishing off the angle on the outside diameter before I part off completely. Now I'll just take this in a little bit so that and measure it up with the one that's already there. So I'll just put the parting off tool back in, and then I can measure up so that this one will be the same length as the one before. So then I can just part that off to the same size. You will see my hand come in a minute to hold this, because obviously while I'm parting off, and it just needs to hold on to it so it doesn't drop down into the bottom of the lathe. It's not a problem. There's nothing in the bottom of the lathe apart from a little bit of swarf from what I'm working on, but it just means I've got to then reach in underneath the bed to try and retrieve it. But if I just hold on to it lightly, when it's come off, it's no problem. So the next step is just to polish these up a little bit, and that's it. Here we have basically the finished item. Well, there you go. Another little job complete. Wasn't too bad actually. Made these aluminium caps. They screw into the end of this lever quite easily. Just got a 6mm thread on it with a screw inside. And here we have a piece so that he can put a chain onto it and he pull it from high level. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. They're made of aluminium, so fairly well polished up. They don't look too bad. They'll look quite good up in the air in the toilet anyway. And if you don't like them, then I think you need to get a better life. But there you go. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make a comment. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my site, and happy viewing in the future. Thanks very much. Bye.